also realized that I can put the microphone directly in front of my face. I don't have to put it to the side. Because, like, I always see, like, influencers always have it, like, up to their mouth and they're like, good morning. And I'm like, oh, I'm over here, like, it's on the other side of the table.
That's probably why sometimes you're so quiet.
Just need to have it in front of my face.
Yeah. What is freaking up, you guys? My name is Sarah.
My name is Eve.
And we are Burnt Out Perfectionists.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
It is middle of April now. Where has April gone?
Up my nose and around the corner.
I feel like April started and I was like, whoop.
I know. It's so funny how, like, some of the months just, like, go so fast. I don't know why February felt like it was fast. I mean, it is, like, the shortest month of the year, so it kind of makes sense. And I feel like I blinked and March was done, but also there was, like, spring break and stuff like that, so that could be why.
I feel like first week of spring break crawled.
Oh, I felt
first week was fast, second week crawled.
Oh, I felt like it was, like, quite well paced. Like, mentally, like, I felt like, wow, I got, like, the full 2 weeks versus, like, sometimes where it feels like I sneeze and it's done. The one thing, though, was, like, the second half of it, we're just, like, pissed with rain the whole time. I was like, we were like, oh, yeah, we can go out, we can do walks, we could do this. And we're like, oh, we'll just, like, do a lot of the same stuff that we did last week. And the previous week before that, it was, like, sunny. It was still cold, but it would, like, get warmer in the afternoon. It was so lovely. And then, yeah, the rest of the time it just poured with rain.
And it wasn't, like, nice summer rain. It was, like, freezing cold thunderstorm.
And then we had, like, crazy storms. At one point, there was, like, 160-kilometer winds, like, at my house.
Oh, yeah. Like, the wind was insane.
It was ridiculous. And then everything is kind of, like, leveled out. So we're officially at the part where it's spring in the morning. It's winter in the early morning, spring in the midday afternoon, and then in the evening, it is summertime because somehow it goes from -2 to 21 degrees. And I'm like, all of the layers.
So, Sarah, what has been? Wow, English is difficult for me. What has been your survive and thrive of the past couple weeks?
Everything kind of ended off for hockey. There was, like, because I ended up being talked into being the treasurer again, so there was, like, some financial stuff just to figure out and, like, people holding off on payments, so that part sucked. But that's kind of done, and now we're in baseball season, which is exciting, and my daughter's team had their first, like, baseball game, and my best friend told me about this app called Ballpark DJ, and this is, like, where the happiness was, is each of the kids got to pick a song. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And then I saw that you can also, like, within the app, if you get, like, the pro version, which I did, it was $6 one-time payment. And you can do it, but the voices were kind of off. Then I was like, wouldn't it be so funny if I made up, like, nicknames for the kids and then had, like, their song playing in the background and then go into their song? So I didn't tell anybody. And then I was sitting there doing it and, like, everyone was, like, howling and anticipating. So when the kids walk up to bat, like, it would be, like, coming from our team, blah, 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 like, their name, and then have, like, a fun little thing about them. It was so funny. And they were just, like, howling. They're like, how did you do that? And I found this sports announcer. I used Podcastle. So I used, I had to go through all of them. And the sports announcer voice I used was, like, Kobe. And it was the best, like, most baseball sounding because to me, all announcers sound different. Like, there's hockey announcers, baseball announcers, and football announcers. And most football announcers and commentators are just old football players.
Oh, and then there's golf. He's hit the ball. It's nearing close.
And the clapping.
Wait for it. And it's successful!
But yeah, that was super fun. I did most of it, like, yesterday. Like, I had the songs and everything lined up. But it works with, like, Apple Music as long as you have, like, a paid subscription or Spotify and you make a playlist and you can just tag the songs on. So there's no, like, rights issue or anything and you're just playing, like, 30. So they said the average plays 30. I did 15 seconds and it worked out perfect. So that way it wasn't, like, inconvenient or anything.
I think also if it's, like, you're, like, wearing up and everybody's, like, resetting, like, higher ages would probably be different.
Yeah.
Because they gotta, like, wear up, clarify everything. But, like, for kids, it's, like, gotta be quick. Or they're like, what?
Well, and that's the whole thing, right? Like, you also don't want to have people waiting. Like, you want it to be fun, but not like, oh, God, there's that team of their walk-up songs type of thing. But, Yeah, it's fun. So we're changing to that, and Eve and I are looking at doing some merch for the kids because it just like adds to the excitement of like the team and stuff, which is super fun. So yeah, what about you?
My survive is I'm tired.
Oh my God. You haven't said that for 3 weeks.
I know. I'm tired. That's really all. I'm
Our
tired.
I mean, like, I feel like everybody in our family is at a different level of allergy. I'm at like three, two different types of allergy pills, 3 pills in total, nasal spray, and like ensuring even more often than not that I'm like even washing my face or my hair more often because like pollen gets stuck in it.
Which like I just feel like I'm in this like weird seasonal switchover where like I don't want to eat anything.
Oh yeah, I get that. Where you're like almost motivated but not quite. That's kind of where I
It's
am.
not even motivation. It's just if someone looks at me and goes, "What do you want to eat?" I'm like, I don't have any urge to eat. And then my thrive is it's been sunnier, so I've been able to do like some yard work and stuff like that, which has been great, and just sit outside, which
You
is
got no
lovely.
accessories.
I did. This is a Thrive and Thrive 2 DeWalt. Excellent products. Got the 20-volt blower and trimmer accessory pack on sale, and wonderful tools. I don't know who packaged your stuff, but I'm gonna say I think it was a man because the Allen key that was required to build the accessory pack onto the trimmer was within the blower things. And if you haven't used the leaf blower, it doesn't need an Allen key.
No.
So I was like, this is so weird. And I was like, oh, I'll build the trimmer first, then I'll take out, because I didn't want to like have different things kind of spread around the house and stuff. I was like, I'll do the trimmer first because I need the trimmer. I was like, where is this? It was inside the blower.
Which would have been so funny if you like didn't find it, and then it was just shot out. Like me think of it.
I was just like, this is ridiculous. So survive and thrive of those. Great tools though.
Yeah,
Love a dual.
I love it about too.
We thought it's kind of like quarter one's done. It's
Yeah,
like March completed quarter one.
yeah.
And we had done the bingo card at the beginning of January or end of December. I can't remember when.
We did it and recorded it at the end of December, but I think the episode aired like mid-January or something.
Okay. Because sometimes we record and then I don't know when I forget when we record and then when it's posted. Because sometimes like we don't have the titles that match up. And I'm like, so what was that about? Um, so we thought quarter one's done. We'd want to give an update because we've had some very interesting conclusions. We came up with these mid-December.
We came out, yeah, it was mid-December because Eve works a lot, obviously, like with healthcare and stuff like that. Like schedules change and everything, and people take time off. So we came up with like the list in like mid-December. It was probably like around December 15th. It was before Christmas.
It was end of November, early December because
Yeah.
I worked almost every day.
I mean,
In
November and December are always up away for us. And my kid had strep at that time. So yeah.
Yeah.
So we came up with the list early and we were like, okay, we'll record this stuff and then like put the episode out when we feel it's like necessary. By the time we put the episode out, there was like a couple things that had actually already been like rumored or come out, which was cool. But yeah, just to give you like an idea, 68% of the things that we predicted have come true.
So if we do a quick review of what was on our combined one that we came up with. If you haven't listened to the bingo episode, it was released mid-January.
And we also have a blog post with our pop culture bingo card attached to it and a blank one if you wanted to like do one and play along with us.
So the first one we came up with, nostalgic rom-com remake or sequel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, was it?
Sorry.
You want to alternate?
I didn't know if you wanted to alternate.
No,
If we like a couple each.
You stared at me. Contacts are out and glasses are in.
Coffee trucks take over.
Ed Sheeran retires.
Kelly Clarkson will launch a business similar to Hello Sunshine or to Mentor Singers.
Number 6 was thrifting and eco-friendly fashion will become the default.
DC Comics get it right and create box office bangers.
MAC makeup becomes the top popular brand again.
Taylor Swift releases a new album.
Chaperone launches a perfume.
Bioengineered meat is launched to the public.
Kylie Kelsey has the #1 rated podcast in 2025. Obviously, there was a free space.
Yeah, middle one. So there was 13. 14, wedge sneakers or skate shoes come back.
Zendaya launches new music.
Tabitha and Michael get engaged or married.
Travis and Taylor get married or announce that they are married.
Non-alcoholic beverage alternatives take off and dominate the market.
Kate Hudson returns in an iconic role.
TikTok is not banned in the US.
Lumineers make a comeback.
Korean simplistic makeup will take over more than ever.
There's a new milk alternative.
Meta traffic declines as they do a full revamp.
And drugstore makeup drops to $10. Under $10.
So we really hit it was mainly the entertainment industry and social media aspects.
Yes.
We weren't about to be projecting the weather.
Oh no, we wanted to stick to pop culture, fun things. It was just a fun idea of things to do. And then at one point we were like, oh, we could do one for the business or the podcast, which would be fun. So if you want something like that, please let us know.
So we had a total of 13, 14, 15, 16. Is it 16? 16 out of how many?
25.
16 out of 25.
Yeah.
That is a passing grade.
That's 68%.
68%. So the first one was Taylor Swift releases a new album. Taylor Swift has officially released a new album. Has she?
Okay, so that is what it stated. So I know that she was re-releasing one of her albums. And when I was looking up everything, because I am not a Swiftie, they said that she had released something that would be so an album. It's considered anything from even just a re-release, or then there's a record, which is a singular thing. But she is releasing, and then she did sneak peek apparently that she will be releasing another full, from my understanding, more. Not a original, but not a re-release album. So I was like, holy crap, I cannot believe that's happening. I mean, she's literally, I didn't think she could top the game that she had before, but she's even higher on top.
She's let me redo it better.
She is just oh, wait a second, please pause while I, what is it? Hold my mic.
Hold my earrings.
Yeah. Just hold my shit. I've got this. Non-alcoholic beverage alternatives take off and dominate the market. Alcohol-free drinks are seen as a surge in popularity and dominating market trends. So the alcohol industry has seen I literally watched a podcast and Manny and Laura were talking about this. So they've seen a 70% decline in alcoholic beverages, and folks, mainly Gen Z, opting to not drink alcohol. And so a 70% decline, and then an uptake in flavored water or faux mocktails and stuff like that. So the uptake on the faux beverages was 30 to 40%, but just kind of cutting all that stuff out in general, it was 70%.
And so just a quick review about generations. I saw this thing and this lady was very passive aggressive about half of Gen Z isn't even in their adulthood. So this is worldwide.
Yeah.
Just state worldwide. Obviously every other country has a different alcohol age range.
Yes.
In Canada it's 19. In BC it's 19. Yeah. In Alberta it's 18. And then I can't remember anyone else's. US is 21. So Gen Z ends in 2009. Mm-hmm. So from 1998 to 2009. If you do the math, it's 2025.
Yeah.
So the youngest that people could be is possibly 16. Yeah. Which means that there's 2 or 3 years between them.
But there's already been a huge decline. And then the other thing that they noticed was these were world stats from, it wasn't Newsweek, but it was Time Magazine or something. I can't remember. I didn't write it down, which I know is terrible, but whatever. And millennials have had a decrease of 40%, which, let's be honest, a large majority of millennials, especially in our 20s, we drink a lot.
I've noticed a huge increase of matcha and tea before bed.
Yes.
Instead of wine. I know
we were I'm not gonna lie, I personally cannot drink wine because I'm actually allergic to wine. A lot of the properties within it and beer, so brewer's yeast and stuff like that. So I could not take on the kind of like wine mom trend. And again, we're not putting that down. Like, do what you need to do. There's always like those studies out there where like, it's good, it's bad, it's not. And every culture is different too. Like in Europe, it's like very common and stuff like that. So I noticed that, especially like the things that I guess would be considered chuggy is like the live, laugh, love, but also like wine mom, is it wine o'clock? Like a lot of those things that you see at like Home Sense and everything, which Gen Z kind of laughs at. But I think because a lot of them have like millennial parents. Another thing that I saw is there is an 80% decline in teenage pregnancies.
Oh, really?
No shit, with a 70% decline in alcohol, I'm not surprised.
I remember when I was younger, I felt like it was a lot more common.
So, it's apparently they're predicting that versus millennials, Gen Z will be the polar opposite of baby boomers.
So I know, like, there a lot of the stuff that like has come out when I was younger too is like, um, being a celibate before marriage,
Yeah.
and a lot of people that I've met are like, I don't want to have sex before marriage.
No, that's a whole thing, and it's more instead of like feeling pressure or having it fueled by even just like a religious source, a lot of people are just kind of like opting out, which is hilarious because there's actually, well, it's like hilarious, but like in a bad way. There's just like raging resurgence with STIs with boomers.
Oh yeah.
Like, and it was so funny because I'm like looking at all these like stats and like, I don't know if you call them fun facts, but I was like, wow, like this is like super interesting just to see and relate it to like stats even like when I was like in high school or whatever. Like I was like, what? Like, yeah, I'm like, oh my goodness.
Well, I think the stat too of like 50% of marriages end in divorce.
Yeah. It's actually a
A lot.
65% now.
From that. I think because a lot of like my generation who had millennial parents either got married really young
Yeah.
or they had kids then they got married and then they got divorced really quickly. I have seen so many people like they have kids, then they're like, we've been together for like 8 years, we're gonna get married, and then they get divorced the next year, and I'm like, what happened?
I know. I was like, oh my God, who was your wedding planner? Did you not have one? Like, what happened in that course of time that just right fucked that whole thing?
I know it was a year, and they were like, I never should have gotten married. I'm like, what?
I know. There's stuff like that where I'm just like, how? Like, especially when they've been together for so long and they have kids, like, what significant thing happened outside of even just like the whole like pen to paper marriage ceremony planning whole thing that caused like just shit to go so sideways? Or was there something leading up to that? And yeah, it's just, I don't know. Sometimes I have fun like looking at like analytics and stuff like that just to see kind of like the perspective from the other side. And for millennials, there was like a huge thing where it was they would get married between 18 to 20 years old and 5 years. And within the 5 years, if they made it out of that 5 year gap, they would have it was like an 85% success rate versus if they generally within that 5 years, they would get divorced. Which I love you, honey. And if you're listening, my husband was one of those statistics. He married his high school girlfriend and then they ended up getting divorced within like so many years. Like, so it's the stats are forever in your favor.
I'm already winning.
You're not the only person. So,
TikTok has not been banned in the US.
but holy crap, how many cock teases are we going to have of TikTok being banned? There was like what was it? It was like 12 hours, but depending on the time zone, it was like 5 hours.
Oh my god, it wasn't even like it was like a reset, and then it was so like there was that one, and then it was apparently supposed to be banned in April, and now I think
It was
being
delayed.
it was delayed again.
Yeah.
There are still discussions, but as of currently,
Yeah.
it is not banned.
Oh, and then I was laughing so hard at all those ones who were like, since we're going, let me admit this. And there was like so many of them who like genuinely admitted some like super shitty stuff. And then other people who like did it like jokingly. And then as they're coming back, it was like, because our feed turned into like Canadians and people from like Europe, folks from Australia, like
was
It's
lovely.
like everything, like it was lovely, not in the sense that we're like, "Oh, thank God those Americans are gone," because there were tons of American like content creators that we love. But it was just like it was so interesting to see like a different mix. And so many folks are like, who's gonna hold our hand when they come back? And there was like some of them who came back and I don't think they recovered. I don't know what her name is. I think it was Meredith, the foundation girl who put like 10 to 15 pounds of
Yeah.
foundation on her face, and did she admit that she wiped half of it off?
Well, they were so that one's not like the ones that are like
That was
I
so
admitted
interesting.
to accepting brand deals and I actually hated the product.
Yeah,
And I was like, there's contractual agreements for those things.
I know, or people who are like, oh, I'm gonna say this because it's just gonna be deleted anyways of like my NDA. I think they thought that like all the accounts were gonna be deleted, when ironically all the accounts were actually kept open, but you couldn't. Some of them you couldn't watch the videos, and then I think it was something like over creators had over 1 million followers. You could still watch their old videos, but they just couldn't upload any new ones.
Yeah.
Or the drafts, like Tabitha and freaking Cover's drafts that they had were the funniest thing ever. Like cheesy shit that we never thought we'd post.
Yeah.
And a bunch of them posted it, which I thought was cute, but it was a really interesting dynamic. And then just like the chronic, like, oh, so like just in case you guys know, like apparently they might be banning it. So we have this. Oh, and we got Lemonade in Canada.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Which is super fun. Like, obviously, I'm still trying to like understand it. I'm trying not to like overpost on behalf of the podcast, but it's really cute. It's almost like opening. It's like Pinterest and TikTok had a baby.
Which I like the people again were doing that. Oh, I just wanted to admit this. And I was like, what? Like, what? The next one was Meta traffic declines promoting a full revamp,
Mm-hmm.
which Meta traffic was going down and it's going down hard.
It's going down hard because
Of other
someone
reasons.
decided to collaborate with some individuals that maybe weren't the biggest thing. I'm not about to be banned in the United States, and I have no say in United States politics because you know what? I don't vote, and I'm Canadian. Like I don't vote in America, but there's a lot of other reasons. We can definitely check it off, and if you would like, I'm pretty sure a quick Google search will definitely help you out.
Bioengineered meat is launched to the public.
Okay, so it is labeled, but in a lot of consumer markets, actually mainly in the United States, and there is some places in Canada, bioengineered meat is available. So that is meat that has been created and grown in a lab, and the original kind of like origin of it is from, so it's basically like cloned meat is the best way. It's probably that's not the scientific term, but bioengineered is. But the original kind of DNA and everything behind it is from it. Yep, it is available. It does have to be marked. On behalf, I know in North America, I would not be surprised. I feel like everything's marked in Europe and Asia and stuff like that. So it is available.
And that's not like vegan meat. This is like
No, this is not like plant-based Beyond Meat, anything like that. This is that's another thing that you want to make sure is not misunderstood, especially for vegans and vegetarians, is like this meat did originally come from. So I would assume that vegetarians and vegans wouldn't eat it because of like the base of the DNA. Because I know that some vegans won't have honey because it comes from bees. So I mean, like to each their own, but very, very interesting.
so the next one is there is a new milk alternative on the scene.
There's several of them.
Well, like most of them we've seen before.
A couple of these that I listed though, I have never seen before. So like if this is your first time listening, I'm allergic to dairy. So Eve always has fun finding out what new things we can milk, aka spin around in water and then strain.
I just find it so there's hazelnut milk, which I've heard of before.
Okay, I hadn't seen that one before, ever.
Really?
That's why I kept sending you random pictures of
Oh my
what's
god, I was like, why? Judd, chickpea milk, which I've heard of. Pistachio milk.
Yes.
And the most recent one is sunflower milk. Which why?
Which is funny. So there was somebody who was on TikTok. I can't remember the name of the creator. And she was like, "Oh yeah, I just figured I didn't have any milk alternatives, so I'll just like do what I do with almonds and stuff like that and do it with sunflower seeds." And she's like, it foams up so great. You don't have to add any extra oils or any of the other stuff. And of course, the TikTok bandits came in and were like, duh, of course you don't have to add oil because there's such thing as sunflower oil. It's the lectin within the sunflowers. And that's why it like foams up. I will state though, I'm a huge fan of sunflower seeds. So I would 100% make this, but this is one of those you don't need to purchase it. You can make it in 5 seconds thing, even kind of like no matter what your budget is. I feel like when folks try to position it as you can make your stuff at home and it's pennies on the dollar, like, have you looked at the price of nuts?
I think it also depends on like how often you use it, because a lot of people will be like, oh, I make my own almond milk and stuff like that, but because it doesn't have the preservatives in it, it doesn't last as long.
Yeah, you have to generally consume it within about 3 to 4 days versus like if you get something like I use Earth's Own, that's like the only brand that I buy. And their stuff is really great. I've tried to make oat milk, slimy, so gross. No matter what I do, no matter the instructions that I follow, it's nasty. And I've tried to do almond milk. Almond milk is good, but again, like
It's hairy.
it's like, yeah, and when you make it at home, like I don't obviously like I used a nut milk bag, I used cheesecloth. I've tried like so many different things and I have a Vitamix and it was just like extra like I don't know, like when you eat nuts and like the skin and stuff like that, like you kind of like choke a little. That's what it gave me and I've tried it like a million times. I haven't tried one of those like nut milk makers. I noticed that they had one for like $80 at Costco and it helps you like you basically stick all the stuff in and it does it for you. So I haven't tried something like that before. Maybe that would make a huge difference because it'll have like a metal strainer instead, but yeah.
Well, I remember I sent one to you and it was like $300, and this is a few years ago, so maybe I'm gonna make them.
That was that almond cow one.
Yeah.
Which I've seen a couple people who have used that like online, but like I only pay like $10 and then it lasts me like 3 weeks to get my stuff. So it to me, and also my husband already loves kitchen appliances. Do I really need another one? And how often would I actually use it?
Next one was nostalgic rom-com remake or sequel.
Mm-hmm.
So, additionally, reports for early 2025 indicated that a sequel titled How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, again, isn't in development, focusing on the character's journey towards marriage and Addie's complex relationship with her mother. Hudson has reportedly invited her real-life mother, Goldie Hawn, to join the cast, though Hawn is hesitant due to on-screen relationship dynamics.
So we did include things that have either been like hinted or heavily rumored, and this was on like several sources, including like People magazine.
The other one that I heard was like, Something Borrowed
Yeah.
was gonna come up with their second because there's 3 to 4 books.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're going on like nostalgia, Harry Potter is developing a series.
Yeah, they're developing a series on HBO. They actually just canned the entire cast and are recasting everybody because of how much the fans freaked out. Because they picked all American actors versus British actors like before. So yeah, there's that. And Hunger Games. But that's not really a rom-com now, is it?
There was another one that I feel like.
Oh, it wasn't Jennifer Hudson one either. Oh, I know what it is. Devil Wears Prada 2 is coming out.
Okay, her name's Jade Hudson, not Jennifer Hudson. You always mix them up.
You know who I feel like that lady, the character, Barbara, on Abbott Elementary.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, that's Scarlett Hubert. Like, who's that?
Who's that? Oh my god, no, that's not that person. But yeah, Devil Wears Prada 2 was confirmed and like the cast is coming back. They've added some people as well as there is the origin story of Elle from Legally Blonde. That will be a series coming out. So there's a lot of nostalgic, not even just remakes, kind of offshoots from things, but it all started with the How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days Again. And even I were like, shut the fuck up. There is no way that happened. And it was like 3 days after we had written our thing out.
No, 3 days after you posted it.
Yeah.
I also have heard rumors about Gilmore Girls possibly coming back.
Okay, so that all sparked from Laura Graham was on Call Her Daddy, love. And I love all the guests that she's having right now. It's like she goes, and who does Sarah and Eva really love? Because I'm just going to interview all these people individually. Like she had Ellen from
Pompeo.
Yeah, from Grey's Anatomy, who's Meredith Grey. And Ed Sheeran was just on. And then she had Lauren Graham, which is so cool. And she was like, I've seen, or she said back in the day, like All in the Family and stuff like that, they would have like Christmas specials or specific specials instead of just like relaunching the whole show. They would have like a 2 hour special thing that would come out. And she thinks it would be really great if Netflix would do it. And she actually spoke to the creator, and the creator was like, oh, I like the sound of that. So she's like, can you imagine if we popped up at Christmas and there's like Rory with her baby and stuff? And I was just like, see, I'd love that. Like, I don't need a whole series because I feel like they rush things so much. And they either include so much detail or not enough detail that even just having it concentrated into one thing, I think that would be super cool. They do that with
Well,
like Doctor Who too. Like they like tons of different.
Gavin and Stacy has been doing it for years.
Oh yeah, and that's the great thing is like you get that like bite of nostalgia, but it's and also it doesn't kind of like hold up that actor from doing like new projects and chronically just being in the same thing.
I feel like though if they did it, they would have to do like fall or like first snowfall.
Yeah,
Like those types of things, I feel like they would be there. And then like spring could be like Sweet Magnolias when it ends.
yeah.
They do a Christmas episode. Like each season, I need a different show that's like here's the fall special.
Oh yeah, I don't need all of them. Just like if you have them kind of like here and there, or even if there's like because a lot of them are based in the States, like a 4th of July special type of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, the next one is Kelly Clarkson launches a business similar to Hello Sunshine or mentors like singers and stuff like that. So obviously she does mentor singers because she's on The Voice. This is different from that, but Kelly actually launched her own record label so she could release her music independently. And she didn't think anything of it. She was just like, oh, I want to like, put my stuff out there. And in order to get anybody to like put your music on the radio or anything like that, you have to have a label behind it. So she was like, oh, I'll just like make my own label, like whatever, like simple. She's like, it's kind of like a transactional thing. She goes, y'all freaked out as soon as I registered. It went all over everything. And she was getting demos sent to her. She was getting all this stuff. So she said on her talk show that she could not believe like the amount of people that wanted to work with her for stuff like that. At this time, she is like a mom of two. She has a television show. She's putting out a new album. So at this time, she's like, it's not going to be a business, but technically she did start it. So she would think about it in the future. So
Which, if you haven't heard of Hello Sunshine, and anything like with Reese Witherspoon, she created a book club because she loves to read,
mhm.
and she, like gives a platform to a lot of indie authors to be able to sell them and stuff. I think she takes portion of it, but I don't know the specifics of it. So it's like her passion was reading and then Kelly Clarkson's music. So along the same lines, she is a registered business.
Yes.
MAC makeup becomes the top popular brand again. MAC Cosmetics has a long-standing influence in the beauty industry, and the buzz around the Basics Nudes collection relaunch shows that the brand still holds a lot of nostalgic and current appeal. Plus, with everyone revisiting old favorites, it's likely MAC will regain the top spot in popularity, especially when it continues to release iconic collections that resonate with beauty lovers and influencers alike.
So this all started with they relaunched the Cool Nudes collection, which was a semi-matte collection that they had in the 90s. So this is a lot of ones that like they used on Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox, Angelina Jolie, like a lot of those kind of like icons of like the 90s, early 2000s. And people just like freaked out. First off, people have always leaned more warm, even even though a lot of times it'll say cool toned, and I'm a cool tone girl. Um, they'll always kind of lean into the warm no matter what. And they saw a lot of the demand, so they decided to relaunch that. They have another one that's relaunching. I think it's the Luster Gloss, which is like their sparkly gloss that they had in the different things. So there's a couple different ones that are coming out or were anticipated to come out for their older products. Oh, they're a lot of their like bake stuff that was discontinued. Baked blushes, bronzers, stuff like that is coming back too.
Were they the ones that had champagne toast?
No,
The NARS?
I think NARS or Becca or
Uh,
champagne. Are you talking about the Jaclyn Hill one?
no, it was called champagne toast. It was a highlighter, and everybody was obsessed with it.
Oh, that could have been MAC.
It was MAC or NARS. And they're also coming out with a bunch of cream blushes too. So the height is back. MAC Baby 11 is coming back.
Oh yeah, we shall see if she does. But yeah, so and then I started noticing too, like a lot of people that I watch. So like Manny, Laura, like a lot of those hosts, you're watching them kind of even when they're doing other videos, when they're doing their makeup. I'm seeing the black packaging again, which I'm like, oh, the nostalgia. That was like the whole thing. It's like you could go and like before there was like Z palettes and all the other stuff, you could go and make like a custom palette at MAC. And then they would like show you an eye look you could do and everything. And like your lipsticks, like my favorite lipstick, I think it's called like Chitty Chat or something. It's like this hot pink semi matte lipstick. I love it. And the best thing about their lipsticks though is like you can wear them and wear them like th- they may smear on your face, of course, depending on like what your skin's like. But I find that they always leave like a really solid like stain behind, so you're not just like butthole lipping it out in the future. Like where to go? I ate it all.
As of right now, Kylie Halsey has been rated the #1 podcast in 2025.
Yep. So her podcast is called Not Gonna Lie. And she launched in December 2024 and then quickly rose to knock out Dak Shepard's podcast and the Joe Rogan Experience.
By March 2025, the podcast won the Best Emerging Podcast at the iHeartRadio Podcast Awards, highlighting its rapid rise and widespread appeal. Which I'd like to raise, this woman gave birth, and 2 days later it was like, I gotta record a podcast.
Well, she was like, it's not that hard for me to sit and talk at a camera, but also like it's in my house. So like what's really my excuse? And this is like her fourth kid.
Which can I please applaud her because I didn't have to wait a ridiculous amount of time to know this child's name.
Oh yeah, no.
I know people are like, oh, you don't need to know their name, stuff like that. And people do like dramatic name reveals, and I'm like, I just want to know.
I love when they pick like a dramatic name reveal and then they have like a boring ass name like mine.
Oh, my favorite is when they do it, but they like peer up to like a sign on the wall, and it's in like really aggressive handwriting.
Yeah, and you're
I'm like,
what is that name?
also, can we make a note? If you have a kid's name who's like either spelt uniquely or like is a unique name, can you say it? Like, because this game of staring up at the word and I'm like, that looks like hallelujah. And they're like, oh, that's Haley. And I'm like, how did you get Haley out of that?
I know it's like, oh, okay. Like, I understand that people have like different spellings and stuff like that. I also like to know like the meaning behind names, but I also love how they kind of go with like the vibe of like, this is their name, but we're going to call them this. Like, that's what I was going to do that. My daughter's first name, I debated about Charlotte, but then I was like, but I'm just always going to call her Charlie. So, yeah, I'll just have Charlie.
My thing is, too, is like when they do the halls, I've never had a kid. This is just me to the people who have social media. When like you do a haul of things that you got for the baby and they're like, oh, I can't show you this one because it has their name on it, or I'm gonna awkwardly cover it. Just don't show me. Just don't show me. Just show it after of like, oh, like their name is like Everly Layla or Everly Marie, and like this is why I named them, and then it's like all the things that I got custom for them.
Yeah.
Like that's cute.
Also, start noting and giving. Whoa, my nose just stuffed up so
Well, that.
Start noting and putting links down for like where you got some of this stuff. Because I love when people just generically say, like, I did this on Etsy. And I'm like, Etsy is a giant fucking platform. Like, what seller did you get it from? Like,
Or the prices.
Yeah, or the prices. Because sometimes it'll be like, oh, this blanket is so cute. We got it done. And then it's like, they do give the link and the price. And then like $125. That kid is going to piss and shit all over that blanket, girl.
Yeah. Or people will be like, oh, my Nana made this for them. Or they'll be like, oh, I got this really cute. And people are like, where is it from? And they're like, oh, my Nana made it. And they're like, well, like, maybe provide like a pattern link of like a stitch. Like, what stitch did they use? Oh. Maybe what yarn did they use? Because sometimes people are like, oh, I can make that. That's really cute. Or they'll be like, oh, I DIY'd it. And it's like, how did you DIY it? If you're going to show me something that I can do, just let me know.
Oh, yeah. Content, baby. Content.
I'm
like, that could be trademarked, but I will always say that because that's always in my brain now. Like, literally, I was like cleaning off the desk and like restocking it, getting all my stuff all ready. Like, where I do the stuff at Eve's house for the podcast. I'm like, oh my God, I should record this. I can hear like Alicia in my brain going, girl, record this. That's what you need to do.
Which I'd like to follow up with merchandise. I'd love a hoodie that says, not gonna lie, ... It'd be great. And the last one, well, one of the last ones is wedge sneakers and skate shoes come back based on the latest trends. Both wedge sneakers and skate shoes have indeed made a notable comeback in 2025.
They made a huge one. So, like, if you go into like West 49, if you go into Journeys, if you go into like a lot of those places, even brands like Etnies has come back. Like, legitimately, it looks like they found old stock and relaunched it. DC's come back with like the more, and what we're talking about is more the like thicker skater shoe. Vans just relaunched their retro collection.
So, like, all of those, which I'd like to raise, like, I just need, like, I don't need a whole chunk because I don't need to be taller than I
Yeah.
already am. And the other one's skate shoes, which I don't know how I feel about these very much.
Okay, so they actually have two different versions. I saw somebody who was like going through the different sites and looking at them. So they're like, if you're young, you can wear like the standard skate shoe that we used to wear because they were not supportive at all, just to let anybody know. But they actually have ones that have like built in like arch support and all the other stuff. So I got them, I call them grandma vans. So they're the typical slide on checkered vans. But and I think the girl told me too, they were like getting rid of or revamping the collection. They are, I want to say, even like an eighth of the weight of a standard van that's like super thick on the bottom.
I just realized I thought we were talking about Heelys,
Oh, yeah, no.
not skate shoes. Because I was like, I don't know how I feel about skate shoes coming back. And then I was like, wait, I like skate shoes. Also Converse making a comeback.
Oh, yeah. And then
No,
have you, what's all over my FYP, which I'm like, you clearly need to know how tall I am and how clumsy I am, is those high heeled Converse that everybody's getting again. And but they're like a
yeah,
chunky, like what kind of heel would they be considered?
wedge.
Almost like the Steve Madden heel, like the black boots that they had. Like it's very like structured. And I'm like, oh my God. Like I had a pair of like white ones at one point. You know, when we went to clubs and we wore heels and short skirts in the middle of fucking dead ass winter and froze our asses off.
Which I like anything platform, I'm like, why?
Yeah. Right.
Which that we're not height. Height's not an issue in our family. Non-alcoholic beverage alternatives take off and dominate the market. Non-alcoholic beverages take. Oh, I read that twice.
I'm like, also you can just kind of like free verse.
I know, but sometimes I read it just be like, which like we kind of covered the level, the like percentages. I am full force this. I am 100%. I have not. I don't drink at all, and I am just so excited to finally have like different drinks. So like Unwell came out with their hydration drink.
Oh, hydration with caffeine. ADHD girl's dream. That's try that again. ADHD girl's dream.
Um, Mio has a wild strawberry caffeine. I'm not saying the other flavors because I'm allergic to them.
Oh yeah. And they're delicious. I'm actually drinking one right now.
I love the wild strawberry. I mixed it with lemonade. What are the other ones?
I just feel like even like the pop industry woke up and started delivering like different things. Like Fanta came out with like pineapple and strawberry, and Orange Crush came out with zero sugar one. So the next thing that we checked off on our bingo card, which I just learned that Eve actually watched this too. Kate Hudson did return an iconic role. If you haven't watched it already, it is on Netflix. The series is called Running Point. It's produced by Mindy Kaling. It is hilarious.
That makes so much sense because it was like I don't know if you ever watched Champions. They only had one season and it was on Netflix and it was I thought it was cute and I was so sad because they didn't make another season of it. And so when I started watching Running Point with Mom, I was like, it's giving me like Champion vibes. Of course, it was Mindy.
Oh, it's always Mindy Kaling. It's always, you always know it's going to be a good show if she's like helping produce it, and or even if she's any part of it. I feel like she touches it, it's like gold. She's like Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. Like anything that they're usually involved in is super funny and super good. This show, legitimately, I was looking for a show to watch, and I watched it all in one weekend.
Well, it has Schmidt in it for one.
Oh yeah, like there was so many. My whole thing was is I actually didn't see any press on this show until I saw Brenda's song doing press, and I love her and think she's hilarious. And she was talking about how excited she was and how her character is like actually kind of based on a real person who works for the Lakers. So they did that whole thing, and then I started seeing the cast, and I started seeing Kate Hudson. I saw that Schmidt was going to be in it. From I know he has a real name, but whatever. And then I started seeing all the other people who were in it, and I was like, oh, I'm like almost completely. And I was like, okay, I'll take it one episode at a time. And then I almost died because freaking I'm looking at one of the basketball players, and I was like, I know this guy. How do I know this guy? And Ben goes, what? Ben goes, oh, he doesn't really look like. And I'm like, no, this is an actor's kid. And it's freaking Chet Hanks. Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is one of his sons. Obviously, one of his sons literally looks like a carbon copy of him, Colin Hanks. But I was so funny. I was watching him. He's in there. I never remember her name, and I feel so bad. But the chick from Mad TV plays his mom, and she is so good in it. She is so good. But there are so many, like, each character has their own, like, mini backstory. It's all, like, very well structured and super funny. It has swearing and there is, like, some sex in it, but it's not, like, Sex in the City level. Like, it's very, in the 90s, it would be shown at 9 p.m. if you need that as a gauge.
Yeah, it's what would a show be like? It's kind of like nowadays it'd be like 6. Like if if it like the sexy time started, you could click the like skip button once and it was done.
Yeah. But
This
that's
is the rating range.
the rating range. But yeah, it was it was so awesome. I absolutely I absolutely loved it. I thought it was so good. We already talked about the TikTok ban. I don't know why that's showing twice.
I really liked it. And the day, I think it was a couple days after we posted the episode, I am a huge, like, I love indie folk. My music genre is all of it. Like, I feel like because I'm also the third, like, my musical genre is, like, all over the place.
And when you say the third, what do you mean for
Oh, third of 4. I'm the third sibling out of 4. But, like, each of our siblings kind of have their own, like, vibe that you can, like, usually pick to. And her mom looked at me and was like, I don't really know what to put you under. Because, like, sometimes I'll be like, I'm a huge musical theater nerd, but then also I listen to, like, everything. Um, and 2 days after the episode was posted, the Lumineers announced that they are coming out with a new album, and I screamed.
I know, and then Of Monster and Men apparently are touring with them too.
Yeah.
So, like, that is just, I could not believe that. Because you were like, I'm going to throw this out there because I just want it to happen. I'm going to manifest this. And then it was like literally days later, we're like, what the hell? Next thing you know, it was like suggested. You know, when you go into your TikTok and it says like suggested at the top and it said Lumineers, I was like, why do they have a TikTok? Click.
And then, like, their new song came out. It was great. I'm so excited for them to start making new music. Mumford and Sons is making new music again.
Oh yeah, like a lot of those guys. Kings of Leon is apparently working on an album right now. Like, so there's a lot of comebacks or a lot of folks like within that genre and stuff like that. I mean, like, I would have never predicted that Kesha was going to have a hit song with T-Pain in 2025.
Which is really funny because, well, not funny, is everybody on my TikTok is like, oh, the emo kids are coming out. Recession is happening.
I know everyone's like, Kesha's coming out with music. Recession. Lord is coming out with more music. Like, there's so many people who are coming out with more stuff. It's just like every single time I turn around, there's like another one. And before, like, let's be totally honest, the rock stars and stars and everything in the 70s and the 80s, when they would come out with albums in the 90s, 2000s, stuff like that, it was because they were broke because of like tax issues or something. But like folks are coming out with it because now there's less control. I am doing kind of what like Kelly has, where you can have your own label and you can like control and release stuff maybe that they wanted to release before and they're releasing it now. Like, I don't know, I'm really excited because I feel like there needs to be a massive refresh in kind of music. I feel like we've been served a lot of the same things for a long time, or even just like the same people, and I'm over them.
Rascal Flatts is coming out with a new album in June, and they're re-recording a lot of their songs and their collabs, which I know that, like, there's different lines in sound and stuff, but I always envision, like, they're coming out with a song re-released with Backstreet Boys. I think it's What Hurts the Most.
I think so, yeah.
I
think that was the one that I saw because I was like, that is gonna break my soul.
And I was like, oh, okay. But then I was, like, counting, and I'm like, there's 10 of them. How do they all fit? studio.
Well, that was like when they did that song with Florida Georgia Line.
Yeah.
And there was like all the guys out there, and then they have the music video, and the music video shows like all their wives and stuff like that. I'm like, this is nuts. Like, there's so many people in this.
Number 16, Korean simplistic makeup takes over more than ever, which really funny. We had no idea that Alicia and Remy were going to Korea at the beginning of the year.
Oh yeah, we had no idea that they were doing that again. And that's like you kind of see the step up. And then I saw like Manny started using face shop stuff. Like there is so a lot of people I know that we were watching, and then kind of the algorithm was like, y'all are interested in that. Here we go. And there's so much stuff. So I've actually bought a lot of like I bought like a face like melting balm stuff or whatever. I another big kind of sell for us is like we do have really sensitive skin, and there are a lot of additives in stuff that is like in North America, and it's super hard to find stuff, and if you do find it, it's expensive as fuck. And it usually has some like wicked smell behind it too, like or they put some oil in that we're allergic to. Like I love anything calming. It always has lavender, which would kill even I. So this stuff is like so great. It's like you can kind of you put it on. A lot of the products aren't really heavy. They're you're able to kind of like meld them with other stuff. I'm actually able to find colors that aren't orange or yellow on me. Like the Tear foundation. I did that filter that was on TikTok just for, shits and giggles. And I put it on and I ordered, of course, you have to make sure you're in the right light and stuff like that. But like I ordered the red cushion foundation that was like completely viral. They're coming out with one that's like silver, and it's supposed to be like a lot more moisturizing and dewy, which this stuff already feels like nothing on my face. But the fact that I can put it on, gauge how much is on there, because I like my freckles, but just like all the extra options that are out there, and like for a cleansing balm, I'm paying maybe like $20, and that's not on sale. And the one that I'm using goes on sale all the time on like Amazon. But I can pay $20 and it'll last me like 4 to 6 months because I'm not like, loading up all over my face and using tons of it. But in comparison to like other like larger brands that are in North America right now, you're looking at $40 to $60 to take off your makeup.
I have a Korean brand and it's like a switch out blush.
Yeah.
From Costco. It's great. Majority of makeup in Korea has skincare properties, which is great. We also burn really easily, so
Yeah. The sunscreen regulation in Canada is like kind of ridiculous. So like if anybody puts out anything that's like really awesome, aka say like the e.l.f. tinted sunscreen, it's about a year and a half to 2 years before we actually get it.
well, it was out, and then they said that it was sold out, but it wasn't sold out. It was because it was taken off the market
Yeah.
because of something. You can get the clear. You can get the clear one. I had the clear one.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Well, that's the whole thing is like everything is like it kind of up to like consistency. Like I like the mineral ones, anything that's like zinc based, which I know some people don't like because they're like, oh, there's a white cast. But if you get like a tinted mineral sunscreen, so like we both use the Australian Gold one, and it's really great. It's like soft on your face. It's not sticky and greasy. I've used other ones where I'm like, I have dry ass skin, and there's nothing worse than having dry ass skin, tinted sunscreen that makes you look oily as fuck, and you're getting like zero moisture out of it. It's just sitting on your face. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm wearing sunscreen.
I think also like a lot of the packaging of sunscreen is also terrible, and a lot of Korean ones are like better.
They're extremely like innovative. Like you get like a little like scoop, or you get like the actual like application device within it, and it's reusable. It's not like a one-time use thing. And there's all these like individual things, which I feel like there already was a huge shift into. We talked about this in like millennial Gen Z episodes that we have, but how there is like that shift from like, the cake on full glam makeup. Unless I guess people are going to events and stuff like that or having professional photography done, but like the everyday full glam. And Gen Z's like moved into more of the like, we would call it as millennials, like the off the runway model everyday look, which is great. And then that allows for like adapting to more things like that. But like Korean skincare, they're gonna have a massive shift in like over half Sephora is gonna have Korean skincare and makeup. Same with like Ulta, which is only in the States, and then Primark is getting a bunch of it in Europe. So it seems to really be spreading out more. I cannot wait for the sunscreen. There is a sunscreen that I've been waiting to be approved forever. And also Olive and Young, which is a super popular. It's like the Sephora of Korea. They actually ship to Canada and the United States, and you can get stuff off their app. It's very different, but it's really funny because if you get stuff from like Korean, Japanese stores and everything, when you go in there, you don't just get the products that you're buying. Like half the time you'll get like a double thing of the product within it. It'll come with all this other extra stuff. And then when you go to check out, they give you like a full on, they'll give you like 8 face masks. They'll give you like all these extra add-ons versus like a sample after you save up a shit ton of points.
Yeah.
So like, because there's a couple different places that like do that and everything. So I think like, not to predict more, but I think we'll see like a shift of more like incentivizing and the changing of like a lot of programs, especially given like the way that the economy and stuff is going. But I'm super excited for this. I know Eve is because we have like a higher chance of, not breaking out.
The other one was the meta stuff, which we talked about before.
Yeah.
So what is left on our 2025 pop culture bingo card? Contacts are out, glasses are in, which we've slowly, like, it's not, I wouldn't say it's like checked off yet. It's slowly starting. Um, Coffee trucks take off.
Okay, so we've got a couple in our algorithm, but we're not seeing like a steady trend of them. But this is something that we are starting to see. Ed Sheeran announced that he is not retiring, but he has always had a game plan for his albums. So he wanted to have the albums, of course, that he had before. And then he wants to have one that is rewind, fast forward, play, and stop. And pause, yeah. But he also made the funniest joke in the entire world that he would love to have like one of those albums that comes out after he dies. So it's like a surprise, and he wants to call it Eject. He's like, wouldn't that be so funny if I did that?
Which he came up with Autumn, and all of us were like, oh my God, he's going to do seasons.
Yeah.
And then he stopped.
I thought he was going to do seasons. His new single came out. It's a bop, as per usual. So, which is sweet.
Thrifting and eco-friendly fashion becomes the default, which like slowly but surely, like it's kind of in the light. DC Comics gets it right and creates box office bangers.
We're waiting on that. So the first one, I know originally Superman was going to launch in September. They've actually bumped it up to June. And from what I'm seeing, we're seeing the same kind of like vibes of which were done for Marvel and stuff. The casting, there's a lot more media attention. So I felt like Marvel was always very heavy on like interviews, media attention, all the other stuff. And I always felt like DC did like 50% of what Marvel did for promoting stuff. You're getting to know the actors a lot more instead of just the role that they're playing. So a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing, I'm being very like, I would just love to see it take off because DC Comics are amazing. And the fact that there's been a couple like just really like either shitty launches. I know some people love it, some people hate it. It was always like you have to choose between the two. I don't think you should have to. So, and there's a lot of plans moving forward. I mean, Marvel stated like a bunch of stuff that they're doing, which is cool, but I would just like to see like another hero brand in the market, which would be fun, but yeah. And then Chapeau Roan launches perfume. We haven't seen that yet, but I feel like it's always coming when it comes to like any sort of like singer and stuff like that.
Travis and Taylor get married or announce they are married. I feel like it's more likely them they just announced that they're married.
Yeah.
Zendaya launches new music.
So she keeps popping up and singing at random things. I know that she did that at Coachella last year. Her and her I was like, her fiance, Tom Holland, have suggested that if and when they do get married and decide to have children, that they will literally just disappear off the face of the planet because like they're like he's like, I have enough. He did just sign a 3-picture deal to advance the Spider-Man series.
Yay.
which is awesome. So there is that stuff, but they are mixing in like other things to then continue it, but even like without him, which is the great thing about like the Spider-Verse and stuff like that too. Tabitha and Michael engaged or married. So it's really funny because if you Google this, it says that they're engaged.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is super weird. It's like, oh, he actually like asked her to marry him last year. And I was like, maybe that's just like the way people are pulling stuff, or even though like that song that he wrote is like one day I'll marry you. So maybe people were kind of assuming, but they aren't engaged clearly by the amazing song that she put out, which is adorable.
Oh, yes. And the final one is drugstore makeup prices drop to $10 or under.
Holy fucking shit. I think they're getting more expensive.
I don't really
So,
buy that much.
oh, I was like, I don't buy that much either, but I'll be like, no, let me change it up and go to get stuff. I went to go get, it was like a L'Oreal, that Paradise mascara. So you can buy the Paradise mascara at like Costco in like a 3-pack. And I was like, oh, whatever. I don't need 3. I'll just get 1. Eve's already bought her stuff. So like sometimes we'd like split it up, but I was like, hey, whatever. I went to go buy one. It's like fucking $18.99. And I was like, wow, for $30, I can get 3. So, I mean, if drugstore makeup just makes its way more into Costco and you do the per unit price, it's like almost there. But yeah, the only one that is still even minorly affordable is Elf. But then they still have products that are like, if you go to get their new is it CC cream or whatever, which I can't find a shade that doesn't make me look like an Oompa Loompa. That one is upwards of like $27.99. Meanwhile, I can get like other stuff. Like there was one that was it the Maybelline BB Fresh. It's like their BB cream stuff or whatever.
Oh, the clean, fresh, it's in the blue packaging.
Oh, they have the blue one and then they have the one that's like the pink.
Yeah.
The opposite side of it. So that was always like $5.99, $6, even when it wasn't on sale. That is now $16.99. Ooh. So there's like some of the things are like it literally goes like Elf, Rimmel, Milani. And then it's like the bougie brands are like Revlon, L'Oreal, and even like some of the products by CoverGirl are higher. And then I saw a girl who was like, girl, if you're buying drugstore makeup, buy it from Amazon. Don't buy it online. So I will just say that if you have seen that, make sure you're buying it from the actual company. And it's not someone masquerading because like you might get like old, nasty ass product. Because I saw a bunch of people who are getting that or they're getting fakes. In some cases it is cheaper. In some cases it's not at all.
No.
So we can just keep on hoping. Did you do the pop culture like bingo card with us? Do you have anything that you kind of like predicted with friends for fun that ended up happening? Do you have anything cool that happened to you? Maybe you did like a personal bingo card. Let us know. You can comment on social media posts or in YouTube if you're watching the video right now down below. And stay as warped and twisted as ever. Peace.
We've got something new. Life's unpredictable, but we're staying true. Through the ups and downs, we'll be here to guide. Come back next week, we'll be right by your side. Burnt out perfectionist, we've got so much to say.